Hello and welcome to this video where we will be looking at some major changes that have been released for the Dyson Sphere program. So there's a major update and they're calling it the Icarus Evolution. So there are a few changes embedded in that. There are some changes to the customization, they added some new power plants, they changed how the Dyson Sphere works, they added some more things to the mining, and they also added some functions around being able to stack items on the conveyor belt. So we'll be looking at all of those things and showing you some of the effects and some of the new changes that have come out. And we'll do it sort of one by one. The first one that we'll look at, the first thing that we'll do is we'll take a bit of an overview, or we'll do a bit of an overview of all the different changes, and then we'll look at each change one by one. So the first change is here that they added some more customization, so we'll be looking at that. They made a lot of changes to the Dyson Sphere, so that's the first thing that we're going to be looking at in more detail. They added a spray coat. I don't quite understand what that does, but we'll take a look at that. They also added a Proliferator, and they also added an automatic piler. So I'm very interested to see how this works, because it basically stacks two consecutive incoming cargoes on top of each other, so that increases the capacity of the conveyor belt. So we'll take a look at that. We also have a logistics station, integrated logistics technology, so we'll have to see what that is. There's a geothermal power station, which I'm interested to try, so you can generate power from magma, which is cool. They increased the capacity of logistic drones and vessels, so that's interesting. They added an advanced mining machine, which presumably you can see here, so we'll try that out too. Looks like there's a lot sort of more that this thing can do, and a lot more sort of outputs that it can have on it. Lots of changes to the customization system, and yeah, they said automatic piler, geothermal power station, advanced mining machine, and so on. They also increased the maximum amount of production and consumption here, I think those are the key changes. So we'll take a look at them in turn. So the first thing that I've sort of analyzed in the background is the Dyson Sphere system. So the key change here is that they've changed the Dyson Sphere editors. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Apparently there's also some performance optimization and also an increase in the power generation, which is cool. They added the Dyson Sphere blueprint system, which is quite neat. They also added the Dyson Sphere layer hiding function, and added some new some new stars for the Dyson Sphere frame and Dyson Shell. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Actually right now. So let's take a look at the editor. So you can see that it's changed a lot. So one of the functions is that you can now hide layers by right-clicking on it, right? So that's very cool. The other thing, yeah, you can see they have made some changes over here. So we are requesting 40.8 gigawatts, and it can produce 47.7 gigawatts. So it seems that this has increased because I'm not using all of it. So that's really cool. We don't have a Dyson Swarm here, unfortunately, but yeah. Then it also looks like you can actually turn off the Dyson Sphere in game. Let's actually take a look at that. Okay, so it's gone. Interesting. So yeah, if we turn it back on, oops, then it's of course back. Okay, cool. So that's neat. So this makes it a little bit easier. The other thing that they did is, yeah, they changed some of these sort of looks that you can pick here. So I think before they were sort of, these two options. Now they've added a few more options. Let's see. This looks fairly similar. They said I did something, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, maybe they added sort of this basic one, and then it shows you sort of, like if I set everything to 0 here, it's going to match up with that. And oh yeah, they're showing you a little bit more information here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, but the key change, the most important change, so if you are going to be building this the clicks are still there, right? Like you still have to do these things and so on. So that's still going to be happening. Let's get rid of these, otherwise going to be starting to build that. But the biggest change, the thing that I was really looking forward to, is this blueprint system, right? So there's actually a blueprint for each of these. You can copy the Dyson Swarm blueprint, the overall Dyson Sphere, and also the Dyson Shell. And the way it works is that essentially you hit this copy button, yeah, and then you can go to a text file and just paste it. And presumably you can then share this over the internet and get other people's Dyson Sphere shells. And it's the same for all the others, right? So you can do the same here. Like if we copy that, you know, we can paste that like that. And you know, this works in the same way, right? And then you can share them over the internet and use other people's clicks rather than your own. So the other thing that I'm going to show you is, well, how does it work on the other end? Okay, so let's copy this, we'll paste it into here, right? And then we can make our way over to one of the nearby star systems where I don't have a Dyson Sphere. So let's pick, we've already been there, so let's go here and point at this. But yeah, I'll be back once I'm there. Right, so we have made it to this other galaxy, and as you can see, I don't have anything. Yeah, I do have like some mining operations, but anyway. So what you can see here is that we don't have anything here, and then we just hit paste. And voila, we have our Dyson Sphere. So no more million clicks, and of course, like you can copy other people's, right? And I assume what's going to happen here is that, you know, people will put up pictures of it and then you can copy it and use it and so on. So yeah, that's very cool. This change is one of the really important changes for them to make, because it was, you know, it takes like 2 hours of clicking to put together a Dyson Sphere. So yeah, this is really, really good. Thank you for making this change and thank you for implementing this. Okay, I'll keep analyzing this patch notes, and the thing, like once I have the next thing to share, I'll share that with you. So I'll be back shortly. All right, the next one that we're going to look at is this automatic piler. It will automatically stack 2 consecutive medium cargoes for the low port and output 1 stacked cargo in the high port and greatly increase the capacity, right? So that's one interesting thing. And then the other part is that they added the logistics station integrated logistics technology. Now you can select the cargo stack count in the station panel. So we'll take a look at how that actually functions in practice. I should actually... All right, so the way that works, right? So for the interstellar station, the logistics station, there's this new output stack count configuration option. So one of the things you can do is just use the tech limit, right? And then this will keep going up depending on the technologies that you unlock. Now, if you look at the technology tree here, there's this new one here, which costs these universe matrix, where it unlocks the ability to stack cargo, right? And this is the logistics station cargo stacking that you can unlock, and it can go up to 4, it looks like, right? And then you can also have, you can also use these proliferators. So that has an impact on this, right? So if you can go up to 4, then the logistics station will automatically stack to 4, right? And if we uncheck this, then you can set it to 1 if you want. And if we look at that, then it'll, instead of sort of doing a double stack, it'll do a single stack here, right? Okay, so let's set that back to 2. Then the other thing that they were talking about was these automatic pilers, right? So that is also some research that you have to do. So there is, oh my god, how am I going to find this? It was up here. So it costs these blue, red, and yellow ones, and then you unlock these automatic pilers, and then we just threw down a quick. Oh boy, the chests are full. Oh, this is a bad thing to actually pick, this water, because it only stacks to 20. Let's pick something else then. Maybe this. Because then this isn't going to keep working for a terribly long time. Okay, so that's not available. This. Okay, so that's available. Good. Sorry. Delete this. Actually, we'll just. Yes. Get rid of all of these. Then we can keep sort of demonstrating it a little bit better, because it'll actually be running. Okay, so let's change this filter to this and this filter to this. Okay, so the way these work is that, okay, you can see that they're double stacked here, and then what happens on the output is that they get to quad stacked, right? So whatever comes on the input just goes to the output twice, right? Now that does mean that you need 2 of them to get a full belt, but it does increase the capacity of your belts massively, right? Like essentially it goes to 4 times what the capacity used to be. And you can see that this is actually going to be transporting these at an amazing rate. Just an incredible rate. And the other thing that you actually notice is that these, the inserters will actually pick up the stacks of 4. As well. Now the other thing that I wanted to try, right? Okay, so if we can do this, why can't we do this? Okay, so the other thing that you can observe here is that it's not going to go past a stack of 4. That's the maximum, right? So there isn't much benefit from this, but of course if you have a 1 stack, right? So let's say that we set this to just stack 1, then this is going to go to 2 stack, and then this is going to go to a 4 stack, right? So whatever comes on the inside will get doubled on the outside, and up to a maximum of 4 with this, what did we call it? The automatic piler. Okay. That's a really good, really cool thing to do. Okay, so now we're going to look at the next thing and then I'll be back. Okay, the next change is actually slightly confusing. It took us a little bit of time to figure it out. So this is the way the Proliferator works. So this is a new thing that they added, and it's a way to improve the production. So the way it works, I think there's an autosave going on. Okay, the way it works is actually demonstrated here. There are actually 3 levels of it. So if we go to, well, firstly I'll show you how you unlock it, right? So the Proliferator is here, and they're Mark 3 and they're Mark 2 and so on. I don't know where all of them are. Okay, there's the Mark 1. And I assume somewhere, okay, there's the Mark II, and then here's the Mark III, right? So the Mark I requires these blue ones, and then it gets you this one, right? Number of sprays, 12, extra products, production speed up, energy consumption is an interesting, like it's, so what it does is it actually increases the energy consumption, but it also speeds up the production. And then of course this one has a bigger effect, right? And then this has an even bigger effect. 150% energy consumption and 100% production speed up. I don't actually know what the extra products mean. So the raw material formula of the Proliferator has been further upgraded. When spray cargoes are used as raw materials to produce the next level products, you can maximize the effect of extra products or production speed up. The power consumption also will be greatly increased, and the equipments of the entire project. I assume that it just means that essentially you get extra output here. So you can see that there's, on top of this normal yellow line, there's this blue line, which I think is also a way, if we watch these numbers, so yeah, you saw that there was a 2 tick rather than a 1 tick when that finished. So essentially what happens here is that you take coal, you produce this Mark 1 Proliferator, and then you feed it through this machine, and you have to lift it up by 1 level and then feed it through the machine, and then, you know, this gets filled up. And then any material that makes its way through here gets sprayed with this stuff, and you can see that it has that sort of yellow indication on it. And then the effect of it is that the production rate is actually increased. Of course, the power consumption is increased by 30% as well. And then not only do you get like extra fast production, but you also every now and then you get an extra bit of material on the output. And then of course, you know, there is the next 2 levels up as well, that we're not going to make, but they work in a very similar way, right? Like you just need the sort of level 1 and 1 additional sort of item, and then you get even faster production speed up, and you get even more extra products out of it. So it's like a very interesting, I guess, addition to the game. So yeah, we'll be taking it, we probably will be making use of this in various production lines, but yeah, so we're going to go into the next one, and once I have figured that one out, I'll be back with that. So we're going to be looking at the last little bit here that we have in terms of the patch notes, which is the actually pretty significant stuff. Oh, one thing that I should say, the capacity of logistics drones and vessels is increased, yes, and the logistics station storage is also increased, so that's something that is just research that we could be working on here. So they've added a lot more of this stuff here, right? So you can actually increase the logistics drone capacity by a huge amount. Like there are 3 levels in here and there are 2 levels in here. So that's something that I hadn't mentioned before. And that also, if we look at it, it adds like 2,000 to the interstellar station storage caps. So that's really cool as well. But yeah, then we have these, like an advanced mining machine. The way this one works is that, as you can see, we've put down one here. It has a much bigger catchment area. And then it actually has 9 output belts. Now, we're not producing anywhere near enough from this to actually fill all of those 9 output belts fully. But yeah, this is how it works. It just has a bigger catchment area, so you don't have to put 1 million of them down. So that's really cool. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It has 9 output belts, it mines, 100%, 300% gathering speed. I guess that's another thing that you can do. You can increase the gathering speed, and you also can do the cargo stack count, and it just uses the, I guess, the tech limit for that. So that's really cool as well. I didn't actually notice this before, but presumably this is going to also consume more. Yeah, you can see that it consumes more power. So one of these produces 10,000 per minute. That's actually really, really good. If we look at our normal production here of the entire galactic system, we're not producing a lot of iron ore at the moment, presumably because storages are full and that sort of stuff. So yeah, you can see that, you know, our consumption, hang on, entire star cluster. Our current production is about 8,000, and this thing alone added 10,000. So this is actually a pretty significant boost to our production. And then you can see we put a little bit of a like cargo stacking arrangement in place. It's not really necessary, but you know, if this was producing full belts, this is an easy way to get this into production lines. So yeah, it's a very cool machine here. And then the other thing that we have is geothermal power. So for that, that was one of the other things that they added. You can generate power from magma, so that's really nice. All you do is you just put one of these down on magma, and then it all works. And it produces about, like if you look here, it produces about 2.4 megawatts, which is a little bit more than the thermal power plant. But of course, this is essentially free power. This is like wind power, right? So it's actually really handy to have this available, especially on this kind of plant, which is one of the first ones that you expand to. It's always hard to get good power here because it's just going to be a mining colony, right? So yeah, that's the geothermal power. I actually show you how this works the same as any other any other mining thing. So you just need like a source. Let's see, is there a source here somewhere? Okay, yeah, you just need a source, and then you can sort of figure it out how you want to put it down, just as before. Now you do have to be a little bit more careful with these output belts. Like if you put it down like this, you're gonna have or like this, you're gonna have a really hard time with lining up some of those output belts, which is why you probably want to snap it to the grid as much as possible, like that, and then it actually covers everything. So yeah. Then of course you just need to add power to it, then it starts working. There you go. And it also actually looks like it you can pick up straight from like you don't even have to connect the output belts. You can actually put down transportation. And demand this. And then they will go to here and actually pick things up. So that's really cool as well, actually. So you don't have to actually put a lot of these down. You just go around the planet, hook these up, connect them to power, and then you send the drones to collect. Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, this is an excellent addition to the game. Like, really excellent. This makes, like, putting down mining outposts, like, 10 times easier. Oh my god. We didn't even need any of this. Wow. These planets have become really powerful now. A really, really good expansion because, these will tend to have your iron ore, your copper, some silicon, some titanium. Like, these are incredible expansion plans now because you can get power for them easily. You have these mining stations where you just put them down and deliver them. So, yeah, these are some really, really good changes. And the last thing that I'm going to look at, but I'm going to play around with it first, is to see how the customization works. So for the mech customization, I'm not going to pretend that I put this together. That's one of the default things that you can load here. You can do all sorts of crazy things, which is quite cool. So the way that it works at a high level, and I haven't spent like a huge amount of time with it, but like, we can add materials, and then you can click there and you can add like these various plates, and then if you yeah, so when you click on it, then you can also do other things with it, presumably. But yeah, you can add various panels to the mech and make it have all sorts of sort of bits and pieces on it, any kind of design that you want. So, I mean, that's the sort of customization here. I think you can probably also change the colors of these things. And then what you have to do in the end is that you have to actually have the materials in your inventory to be able to apply these changes. Of course, I don't have any of them in my inventory, but yeah, I think, you know, what I'm going to be doing is relying on other people to figure out how to make these great designs, and then I'll just pick some of them and then try and find some of these materials. Now, what is this thing here? Titanium ingot and iron ingot. All right, how about this? We'll go back and we'll apply one of those. But yeah, so that's the customization. I'll go back to my home planet here. Oops, let's land. Hang on. I need guidance. And then we can sort of collect all of the material together and actually apply one of those designs. So I'll be back once I have that figured out. Okay, so we're back at our sort of import-export hub. Now we need quite a few materials, so let's put that into our inventory. The way that you get to the customization screen is that you click on the mecha panel, and then what you can do is you can transfer items from inventory into here. So you can see that we have enough of these blue research cubes, we have enough iron plates, and we're just sort of gathering enough of these titanium, which is going to keep arriving here. Alright, that should be enough. So let's transfer all items from inventory. Nope, still not enough. Alright, I think we need another one delivery here to arrive, and then we should be okay. Alright, good. I know that's a little bit more than we needed, but yeah. Okay, and then we can apply this design, and then, yeah, pretty cool. I actually like it a lot. I'm never going to be able to put any of that together, but that is certainly very cool. So yeah, that's a pretty excellent make customization thing. So I assume people are going to be spending time and making these sorts of things available to others, and then, you know, people like me who have no talent for this sort of thing can benefit from that. Alright, we just crashed a little bit there. I also like that the wings move. So yeah, I think that's everything that was in the everything that's in the patch notes. So we'll leave it at that. So for the guide, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.